So we're going to move on. Now, something that I would encourage you to do at home is take your tennis balls and put them in a tube sock. And then tie a knot so that they stay right next to each other. And what this works really well for is to use on your neck. Oh, let me go this way. To use on your neck so that the balls are right along each side of your spine. And you can roll it down the spine following the vertebrae. Okay? I know you guys don't have that right now. But I'm gonna demonstrate just for our video folks here, and then I'm gonna let you each use this and try it out. So basically, I'm gonna put this behind my neck, and I'm holding onto it with my hands. And I've got it right at the base of my skull, and oh my gosh, I get a lot of tension right at the base of my skull. Folks that are working on the computer a lot, you probably experience this too because of your posture, right? You're supposed to be up like this, but we all tend to do this when we're working on the computer. And that causes added strain on the neck right at the base of the skull. So this is so great. I'm gonna kind of turn an angle so you guys can see what I'm doing as well. I'm just holding it in place with my hands right at the base of my skull and then just gently turning my head from side to side. And oh my gosh, let me tell you, that feels amazing. And then you can move down the neck. I'm just kind of inching them down my cervical vertebrae and moving my head side to side massages those muscles along the spine. And that just feels amazing. And then you can keep going. And what I do is I clasp my hands behind my head. So I've got the tennis balls like basically right at the base of my neck, right at my upper back area. I'm clasping my hands behind my head. I'm getting a firm placement of my feet, and then I'm lifting my bum up off the mat and rolling those tennis balls down my spine without pulling my hair. All the way down, and just nice and slow, and man, that is really good pressure. So what I'm going to have you do, again, I was just demonstrating for the video, but I'm going to have you try at the base of your skull and on the neck, but before you get into the back, I just want you to try these right at the base of the skull. So go ahead and give that a try. And you can actually do it yourself. Here, I'll have you try. You can do it with just holding the two of them in each hand, like that. Okay. And you still get the same effect without the sock. So give that a try. And Esteban, you might want to lie down, just because it'll give you a little bit more pressure on the back of the neck. And if you want even more pressure, just like Ryan, you can lift the bum up, and that applies even more pressure. You feel that difference? Yeah. Yeah. Is there a lot of tension in there? Yeah. Yeah, I bet. So see how wonderful this could be when you get home from work. Just lay out your yoga mat in your living room, get down there with your massage tools, and you can really help yourself out, relieving all that tension from your day. Any questions about the neck?
No.
Did I not give myself a... Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I was needing one of these guys. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the foam roller. Do you guys have a foam roller?
Yeah.
Cool. If you don't, Target, Walmart, everywhere sells them. They're like between 10 and 20 bucks, depending on what size you get and all that jazz. But these I get on Amazon for 8 bucks. And I love them because they travel well. Because you know, you find them typically in the stores and they're like that long, which is fine. But I just like these because they travel better. So we're going to sit up with our feet in front of us and the foam roller right at the base of your spine. Yep. And we're going to gently lean back on it. Okay. And I like to come down to my elbow because I don't like to be on my wrist too much. So I come down to my elbow until I'm kind of balanced on it, right? Then I will bring my hands behind my head and just let it roll up my spine nice and slow. And you walk your feet as it moves all the way up your spine. And we're literally going to just roll back and forth from the sacrum all the way up to the upper back. And if you find areas of tension, like I said with the feet, if you find an area that's giving a lot of resistance and maybe is causing you a little bit of pain, you can just hold the foam roller in that spot, giving that constant deep pressure until that tissue softens and releases. Are y'all feeling tension in any particular area?
Yeah, like right at your, right here, those big pieces of beef.
Yeah, that's the sacrum. Yep, exactly. And that's because of all the sitting, all the hours of sitting. So good. Just keep moving nice and slow and holding constant pressure on the areas of tension. Make sure you're breathing. I know whenever it's painful, we want to hold our breath and like resist the pain, but the pain goes away a lot faster if we breathe into it. All right, when you've made several passes up and down the spine, Esteban, please breathe.
Okay, sorry. My cord is not strong at all.
Oh, well see, this is actually, you get 2 birds with 1 stone. You're massaging your back and you're strengthening your core. That's a great point. Thank you for reminding me of that. To do that motion, you do have to use those core muscles, and that's really good. A strong core means a strong back and a stable back, and stability in the spine is really important. So yeah, that's a good point. It's a really good exercise. So just to demonstrate, I'm gonna grab this back from you. I'm gonna give you one more tennis ball. So there you go. So basically, once you've, again, used your larger tool first, then you can move to your smaller tool and put each ball, so you can take the 2, even though mine are together and yours aren't, you can still take the 2, put them on either side of your spine, okay? And lift your bum, hands behind your head, lift your bum and slowly roll them down the spine. I know, it's a little more challenging when they're not in a sock. But you get the idea.
Yes.
So I have a really tight thoracic spine, so kind of mid to upper back range. So I like to put the two balls like right in the middle of my back, lay back on them, and just move up and down, maybe like 2 to 4 inches, so that I'm just getting that mid-back area. And again, when you find the pressure points that are really stiff, causing you a lot of pain, you want to just hold deep, constant pressure on those. And Ryan, I'm going to show you here in just a minute, I'm going to show you what you can do specifically for your shoulder. Yeah. And you can even just use one of the tennis balls. If you find a specific spot on the right or left side, you can just use one of the balls, put it on that spot, and use your body weight to apply that deep pressure. Like the piriformis, you can put one of the balls right there. And we'll get more detailed in the hips here in a minute. Okay, real quick, I want to demonstrate something a little bit more specific. So when we have shoulder pain, which I'm sure you both do, being desk workers, come out of there. Okay. One thing that you can do is what tends to get really tight is the area in the upper back right in between the shoulder blades. So you've got your spine here, you've got the shoulder blade here. So this muscle area right in between the spine and the shoulder blade tends to really lock up and get tight on folks that are working at a desk. So what you can do is you can take your tennis ball, place it right back in that area, lie back on it, and move the arm in kind of a circular motion with the elbow bent. And you'll notice when you get the arm across the body like so, that's where you feel the pressure intensifies. And then moving it out, the pressure becomes less. So moving it in that circle kind of helps the tissue let the pressure in a little bit at a time until the tissue's completely relaxed. How's that feeling?
Very good.
Good. So I'm telling you, you literally, if you use these tools consistently, you will do better body work on yourself than most massage therapists. That's a bold statement, but I really do believe it. And then go ahead and move the ball to the other side, in between the shoulder blade and spine, and move that arm in the circular motion again. Oh yeah, my right side is so tight. So Ryan, this is really good for you in your injury because the muscle that we're working on right now is called the rhomboid. And the rhomboid takes on, even though it's not part of the rotator cuff or the labrum, it takes on a lot of stress from any sort of shoulder injury. So you might notice, do you notice that it's pretty tight?
Oh, my left rhomboid is very tight too, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, people that work at a desk, the rhomboids and pretty much the whole shoulder girdle stays really tight. So the next area we're gonna get is the actual shoulder blade itself. So if you want to take a look at me quick, what I'm gonna do is put the ball right on the shoulder blade. Okay, so you know your shoulder blade, right? It's that chicken wing. So there's a meaty part right here. That's the meaty part, the muscly part of the shoulder blade. Okay. That is where that sustains most of your shoulder injury, is that meaty part right there. So I'm going to put the ball right on that meaty part of the shoulder blade, and I'm going to kind of lie down but on my side a little bit so that that pressure can go straight into that meaty part. And then I'm going to move the forearm back and forth like so. So give it a try, and you might have to move the ball around several times until you get it right in the right spot. And you'll know when you get it in the right spot. So I'm going to have you turn a little bit more on your side, Ryan. It'll apply a little bit more pressure. Do you notice that difference? Yeah. You basically just keep moving the forearm back and forth until the tissue feels softened and relaxed and released. And when you accomplish that, you can move the ball around into a different area and work on it. And when you're ready, you can move to your other side. How's that feeling for you?
Yeah.
Is it okay, even with your injured arm?
Oh, it's tolerable.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Ooh, my right side is yelling at me. How are you doing, Esteban?
Good.
Good. Are you feeling that shoulder?
Yep.
Getting in there, huh? Yeah. You can also use the foam roller. I'm just going to demonstrate that really quick. In the same way, lying on the side and just getting it in there and kind of it's just a little bit of a roll, but it is pretty effective. And you can move the forearm back and forth the same way you did with the ball. Ooh. This is intense for me. How's it feeling to y'all?
Intense.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the thing to keep in mind is even though it's intense, if you do just a little bit every day to every other day, that consistency will start building up muscle memory, and it will get easier and easier every time. And that's the key, is consistency. Oh, goodness. All right. Take your time whenever you're... I know, you start to just like want to move everything and stretch because we're starting to work stuff out, right? You're going to be really sore after doing this work. It's just like you would be going to the gym and doing a hard workout, because when your muscles get tight, they build up lactic acid and bio waste like that. And whenever you get work done on them, if you stretch, lift weights, go get a massage, whatever, the lactic acid gets pushed out of those muscles, but the only place it has to go is in the surrounding tissue. So if you don't flush it out of your body, that's why you're so sore, you know? Really important to drink lots of water. You can take like a really hot shower, bath, and that helps. Okay, so for the arms and hands, same thing as our feet. With the hands, I like to take the golf ball and I like to just bring the golf ball in between the hands and then cut my hands together and just move the ball in the palm. And I tend to get really sore right in that meaty part below the thumb. And so I'll apply some deep constant pressure just right in that area. Do y'all ever experience like carpal tunnel or pain in the wrist or elbow? Yeah, so I'll show you what you can do for that. So basically with the elbow, you just want to make sure, excuse me, with the wrist, you just want to make sure that you're stretching really good. So this is a good stretch. Just to do intermittently throughout your day if you've done a lot of typing at the computer. And remember, whenever you're stretching, you want to hold a stretch, especially if it's an area that's really tight. You want to hold that stretch for a minute or more. So 60 seconds is the least amount of time. Whereas we're typically used to holding a stretch for like 10, 15 seconds. You really need at least 60 seconds to gain any muscle memory, okay? And have long-term effectiveness. Alright, so then the other thing I like to do, because if you do a lot of typing, the forearm muscle here can get really tense and chronically tight, which it's going to affect your elbow. So I just put my arm over my leg. I apply with the golf ball, I apply it right at the top of that forearm muscle, right where it connects to the elbow. And you can move the ball around and kind of, it's probably going to be sore. Do you notice some soreness? Yeah. So then you can move your hand up and down, and that gives you that active release. That helps the muscle fully release with the pressure. So this is more effective than digging, right? Any kind of friction, it's going to cause you more harm than good because it's going to increase inflammation. So we don't want to do that. So just constant pressure and then activating the muscle, causing that active release. And you'll notice after a minute or two, the soreness starts to dissipate. The tissue gets softer, and then you can move the ball around the forearm just to make sure you get all the tight spots. Whenever you're ready, we'll move on. So, any questions so far? Awesome. It's pretty intuitive stuff. You know, I give you the knowledge, your job is to actually use it, right? To actually do this work on yourself. So we're gonna grab our foam roller and we're gonna move on down the body. So we're gonna get the hips. So we're gonna get that piriformis. So what I like to do is I like to just sit up onto the bolster. And I'm just gonna move, gently roll right on the glutes. Nice and easy, back and forth. So Esteban, you're a little bit more on your side a little bit. Yeah, there you go. And again, you can come down to the elbows, that's better for you. So you can then move to the ball and get, so your piriformis is actually this side, let me get in a position, it's the side muscle right here. So it's in between the glute and the hip. This guy right here, that's your piriformis. So if that's troublesome to you, you can, now that you know where it is, you can put the ball right on it and just kind of lean, oh boy, lean right into it. And mine is definitely sore. How's that feeling?
Good in a bad way.
Yeah. I get it. But you notice how just holding that constant pressure, it slowly releases, it slowly gets softer, slowly gets a little less painful. Yeah. And like I said, the more you do this, the better your tissues will respond and it'll hurt a lot less. I don't even think about my piriformis being painful, but now I will.
Yeah.
I'm very flexible in my hips, so I don't really think about working on my hips very often, but I definitely need it. Whew. Yeah, that's referring all the way down my leg and like making my kneecap feel like it wants to explode. All right, how are we hanging in there?
Too much.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the IT band. And it's my least favorite part of the body to do this, but it's necessary. So basically you get up on, just like we did with the glutes, except you're a little bit more on your side. And I like to bend the knee in the back here, or behind my other leg. And I slowly roll along my IT. And it is painful, I'm not gonna lie. And I definitely need to do it more. You can also, if you wanna so basically you change the angle depending on where this other leg is. So if your leg is in back, you're going to be more on the posterior side of the IT. If your leg is in front, you're going to be working more anterior side of the IT, okay? So you can do both. Oh my gosh. It's bad. You guys can be vocal, it's okay. You can let me know it hurts like hell, I know. It's hurting me too. I certainly need to do this more often than I do, apparently. I roll out my back every day, but I don't get to my whole body every day. Definitely don't get to my IT band very often. Ooh, 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 ooh. Goodness gracious. The good thing with this work is if you do it frequently, you don't have to do it for a long period of time. So what I tell all of my clients is, frequency over duration. Does that make sense? Do stuff more often, but for less time. That's why when people go to the gym like twice a week, but they're there for like 2 hours, I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, but your body would do a lot better if you went to the gym like 4 times a week for like 30, 45 minutes. Oh my goodness, that is rough. So, with areas like this that are really tense and tight, that brings me to the next thing I want to teach you. You guys can continue doing this. I'm just going to talk to you here for a minute. So when you're doing work on your body and you're experiencing pain, instead of just giving up and saying, screw that, that hurts too bad, I'm not doing it, learn to use your breath. Your breath is a powerful tool to help you work through the pain and get past it rather than just giving up. And you'll notice, the deeper you inhale and exhale, the less pain you actually feel. Yeah, you can take a break. It's intense. I know. When I first started using tools, especially the foam roller, I could maybe get like, 1 pass on my IT. I couldn't use the foam roller for very much at all. It was just too painful. But it definitely gets better. You're fine. No, I want you to take your time. No worries at all. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the quads, so the front of our legs. And basically, you're just going to come straight down on your foam roller with your elbows, and you're going to roll forward. And yeah, you can do one leg at a time, or you can do both, whatever feels better to you. You can shift your hips to one side or the other. So like if I shift my hips where I lift my right hip up a little bit, you notice you get more the lateral side of your quad on the left leg. And then same thing on the other side. If I lift my left hip up a little, I get the lateral side of my right quad. Man, that is. You know what else I just realized? At home, I use a foam roller that's probably like 10 years old or more. So like over time, the foam obviously breaks down and softens. I don't use these. Yeah, these are brand spanking new, so they're really intense to use. Because I'm like, why is this hurting so much more than when I do it at home? Duh. Yeah, I like the one leg at a time approach for the lateral side of the quad. It's a little more tolerable, not as painful. And I will have this video up on my YouTube channel, so if you need.
Oh, what's your YouTube channel?
It's my name, annsleydolan. Yeah. Or it might be Wellness X. I don't remember. I think it's annsleydolan. But I can definitely, I need to put it, I'm going to put a link on the same site that you registered for this class. So you can just go back to that and there'll be a link on there.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Whenever you're ready, we're going to move on to the hamstring. And basically what I like to do is just get it under the hamstring with the knee bent. Then you'll probably have to hold it in place with one hand. There we go. And then just roll up and down. Now with the hamstring, just because of the way our body is positioned, we're not able to get as much body weight on it as the quad, so we're not able to get that same depth. But if you just roll it out using the foam roller first, like so, then you can take your ball and get deeper in there. And what I actually like to do is I like to take the 2 tennis balls, put them under my hamstrings like so, and then touch my toes. And you move them around in the areas where you feel the tightest in your hamstring. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. Oh my gosh, when I had like a lot of people in this class. There were like balls rolling all over the place. Couldn't keep up with them. So yeah, you just move along the whole length of the hamstring, getting each point, reaching to touch your toes, or just as far as you can reach, until you get all the way back behind the knee. And you'll notice this on this, you can do the same thing behind, like on the calves. Feel that? Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, you can do one at a time. That's a little easier to keep them in place. I'll put them there and then I'll just point and flex my toes, and you really feel it working in the calf. Ooh, especially as you